In the headlines, Apapa faction kicks against Edo Court's judgment on suspension of Labour Party chairman Abure. Others. Fleeing bandits around Burnangwari abduct many in Kaduna State. Police begin search as armed robbers cart away Ghana Must Go bags filled with dollars in Ogun State. And on the international scene, 10 people killed in new clashes in southern Chad. Hello, and thank you for joining us on News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And we begin with politics, where the Lamidia Papa faction of the Labour Party has kicked against the decision of an Edo State High Court presided over by Justice Emmanuel Oke Ayamoje, which reportedly restored Julius Abure as substantive national chairman of the party. During a press conference in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the Apapa faction, Abayomi Arabambi, said a matter pending before the Court of Appeal cannot be litigated by any lower court. Arabambi said the implication of the suspension of Abure by the National Executive Council of the party in Bauchi State makes the Edo judgment a mere academic exercise, as NEC, which is the highest organ of the party, had already suspended Abure and his cohorts. Counsel to Apapa faction, Monday Mawa, while also reacting to the judgment, said the judgment does not set aside pending issues facing Abure, which are yet to be resolved.
I felt it is necessary to set this record straight that Abure himself was the one that appealed that judgment of the ruling of May 12, where the court sustained the order restraining him and restraining the former National Secretary, restraining the former National Organizing Secretary, that's Clement Ojukwu, and restraining the former National Treasurer. And they have appealed the judgment into the Court of Appeal, which is yet to be heard. He also filed motion for stay of proceeding. He went about last week that Court of Appeal are reinstated him. If Court of Appeal are reinstated him, what is the jubilation about an Edo State High Court that has also now said they are, returning Abure to office? It just mark, some form of responsibility on the part of Abure and his media, cohort. But we are letting the public know that that matter is pending before Court of Appeal in Abuja, and no junior court can adjudicate over any matter before an higher court.
NEC, which is the highest organ of the party, has further suspended him. So his suspension from his word, which was set aside today, is no longer of any moment. Because he now has, it's not like a person having two issues to cross, or two rivers to cross. He has only succeeded in crossing one, and he's celebrating that he has succeeded in crossing everything. Unfortunately, that is where he is, and that is the reason I said I do not see reason why anybody should be celebrating what transpired in Benin today. There is nothing to celebrate. So I think that is the position. So as it stands today, that judgment has only set aside the suspension by his word. Not the restraining order of FCT High Court. That restraining order still remains. And then the suspension of their suspension by NEC still remains. So you can see that the judgment seems not to even make any difference for him. So he still remains suspended and remains restrained.
The 2023 elections have been concluded, with aggrieved parties currently in courts to seek redress and legal interpretation based on tenets of the Electoral Act and the Constitution. In this report, Trustee Viz Sagir Ibrahim speaks with Nigerians on the 2023 post-election adjudication and their expectations.
The respondents expressed confidence in the judiciary delivering fair judgment, especially with the new 2022 Electoral Act serving as a guideline to further strengthen the process.
I will say we hope that the right winner will be declared, even if it is the president-elect, if he's the winner. But I will say going forward, that law needs to be amended again so that when there's an election, all election tribunal petitions should have been solved.
It depends. Those who approach the court, they should know that they have to have a valid point to prove their case. If you prove your case, the court will deliver justice. When they don't believe that they deliver justice, it means something is wrong one way along the line with their own side.
If they did well in Osun, they will do well in other ones. So I have confidence in the judiciary.
This group also held a peaceful demonstration in the capital city, Abuja. Their call is on the Election Petition Tribunal to grant fair hearing to all sides. Dr. Salahuddin Hashim, a public affairs analyst, says Nigerians must put national interest first while believing that justice will prevail in the end.
At this point, the national interest must come forward. And then, of course, we must see the position of the judiciary, that they are also major stakeholders, and that there is also a burden on them to be able to ensure that they institutionalize governance in a manner that help us to be able to advance further. Either way, whoever wins in court, of course, still has an opportunity for approaching the higher court to say, look, they want to vacate the judgment of the lower court until they get to the Supreme Court.
The 2022 Electoral Act provides that a petitioner intending to challenge an election result must file their petition within 21 days after the declaration of the election result, and an election tribunal has 180 days from the filing date to hear and determine an election petition, as any petition determined outside the 180 days period will be rendered invalid. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now moving on to security. Imo State Police Command has placed its men on alert following allegations that the indigenous people of Biafra and its armed affiliate, Eastern Security Network, are planning to disrupt the inauguration of newly elected members of the Imo State House of Assembly. The command, in a statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Henry Okoye, said the Commissioner of Police, CP Muhammad Ahmed Berde, has ordered adequate deployment of the command's operatives to the entire state. The statement added that CP has mandated area commanders, divisional police officers, and tactical teams commanders under his command and control to use all available assets in embarking on an intelligence-led patrol, round-the-clock visibility policing, and Operation Show of Force, while synergizing with other security agencies, and ensure that the operatives adopt the best professional ethics in delivering a modernized human rights complaint police service. He advised the public to disregard the misleading sit-at-home order or threats issued by the outlawed group and go about their lawful business without any form of fear of intimidation, as the command has in place adequate security measures that will guarantee the peaceful inauguration and transition of the newly elected legislators in the state. Locals in Birnangwari town in Kaduna State say that fleeing terrorists from neighboring Zamfara State encircled the town on Thursday night and abducted many residents. A source said the sad incident happened at Gobirawa area of Birnangwari main town, close to NTA Birnangwari, not more than 500 meters to the Air Force Field Base. The Birnangwari Local Government Council Chairman Abdullahi Ibrahim Muhammad Amir has since issued a warning to the residents of the area to restrict movement in the entire Birnangwari Emirates. In a widely publicized message, the council chairman warned that after a meeting with the Emirate Council and security agencies in the area, all movement, whether on foot, bike, or any kind of vehicle, was not allowed from 8:30 p.m. in the Emirates. Now, still on security, the police in Ogun State have commenced a search for a four-man armed robbery gang that escaped with $11 million in Abeokuta, the state capital. This was gathered that the armed robbers operated successfully on Friday at the Oke-Shokori area of Abeokuta in the Abeokuta North local government area without being challenged by security operatives. All adorned on black t-shirts and jean trousers, they wore black face masks and brandished rifles in the 3-minute robbery. They were said to have fled the scene with their targeted money stacked in 2 Ghana Must Go bags after dispossessing a trader of his Toyota Venza Salon car. The police public relations officer of the state, Abimbola Oyeyemi, who confirmed the incident on Saturday, described it as unfortunate. 12 suspected criminals have been arrested in Gombe over alleged offences bordering on conspiracy, forgery, rape, armed robbery and house-breaking. Parading the suspects at the headquarters of the State Command on Friday, ASP Sharif Saad said the suspects were arrested by the police patrol team after receiving reports from members of some residents. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These suspects are alleged to be involved in criminal conspiracy, forgery, armed robbery, rape and house-breaking respectively. Habu Muhammad Kabir and Ilya Amos are alleged to have forged identification card, receipt and stamp of Gombe State Internal Revenue. Habu Muhammad allegedly pretended to be a staff of Gombe State Internal Revenue Service and defrauded 2 people.
And on the 20th of May 2021, Habu Muhammad Kabir went to Hajj orientation camp at Gombe at Government Arabic Teachers College, Gombe, and presented himself to the staff and intended pilgrims as staff of the Internal Revenue Service deployed to collect revenue from intending pilgrims. Upon receipt of the complaint, detectives from Gombe Division swung into action and succeeded in arresting the suspect. During interrogation, the suspect, Habu Muhammad, confessed to have forged the agency's ID card, receipts and stamp and collected the sum of 30,000 naira from 2 suspects, that is 15,000 naira each, for registration.
The Gombe State Internal Revenue Service battles impersonation coupled with other impediments against its operations.
We have been encountering a lot of challenges in this domestic revenue mobilization. We have a lot of frustrations by members of the public who try as much as possible to bring about leakages, and one of these areas of leakages is this area of fake receipting, impersonation and the likes of them.
The prime suspect of impersonation has confessed to the crime. I have regretted my actions, and when I am released, I will help the police to track down all impersonators in the name of the Gombe Internal Revenue. The command recovered cutlass, phones and a laptop from the suspected armed robbers who are terrorizing the state capital. All suspects will be arraigned in court as soon as the police conclude investigation. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Dezani Maduike, has sued the Attorney General of the Federation and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for alleged libel. She is demanding 100 billion naira to be paid to her in damages, according to a writ of summons filed on her behalf at the Federal High Court, Abuja, by her team of lawyers led by Mike Ozekome, SAN. A copy of the writ of summons on Friday night directed the defendants jointly and severally to pay the claimant the sum of 100 billion naira as damages for the false, injurious, malicious and libelous publications against the claimant in the first defendant's publishing platform and at the instance of both the first and the second defendants. In the writ of summons dated May 26, 2023, the former minister is also demanding that the EFCC and the Attorney General of the Federation apologize to her in 3 national dailies over what she described as the false, injurious, malicious and libelous publications against her since she left Nigeria in 2015. Both EFCC and the AGF were given 14 days from the service of the summons to enter their defense. You're watching Trust News Updates. Coming up after the break, we take a look at why Karimjo community wants separate chiefdom from Wurkum. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Trust News Update, a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Apapa faction kicks against Edo Court's judgment on suspension of Labour Party Chairman Abu Ray others. We also heard that fleeing bandits around Bernungwari abduct many in Kaduna State. Now moving to more news. Intending pilgrims from Katsina are set for the 2023 Hajj exercise. The intending pilgrims have been vaccinated and received uniforms as well as bags preparatory to their airlift to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports.
Officials of the Pilgrims Welfare Board in Katsina State were seen addressing intending pilgrims in Daura Zone, meant to make the first and second flights. Officials asked them to be good ambassadors of the state while in the Holy Land. The inaugural flight takes off on the 29th of May 2023. Therefore, I urge you to learn all what Hajj entails for you to have an acceptable pilgrimage. Don't carry anything prohibited in the Holy Land. The board will not take it lightly on anyone found wanting. Kindly help us to maintain the status quo as the best in Nigeria. Similarly, the intending pilgrims were told that the balance of $100 for each intending pilgrims has been deducted from the basic traveling allowance of each intending pilgrim. In view of this, each intending pilgrim from Katsina State is to collect $700 as their BTA instead of $800. The intending pilgrims were also directed to take COVID-19 vaccine, as only those who were vaccinated previously against the disease are exempted. The Holy Land is very strict on vaccinations. As such, for anybody performing this year's pilgrimage must be fully vaccinated. For us, we never relent in ensuring that all our intending pilgrims were vaccinated. The board announced that there are about 5,000 intending pilgrims from Katsina State that are expected to perform this year's pilgrimage in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia this year. Katsina is one of the few states in Nigeria that has been recording success of Hajj operations over the years. Abdullahi Izumai Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Karimjo community in Taraba State wants the state government to create a separate chiefdom from Wurkum chiefdom. The community made the request in Jalingo during a press conference, saying the history of the chiefdom was distorted by the president of Wurkum in Karim Lamido local government area, Wilfred Habuba Kwenchi. The report.
The Karimjo Community Development Association, led by retired police officer Adam Bose, said the community have made frantic efforts to have their district and chiefdom since 1981 in the defunct Gongola state, and the then state government approved creation of chiefdom, but the government of Bamanga Tukur suspended all newly created chiefdoms.
Represented by President Wurkum Community Development Association, Comrade Wilfred H.Y. Kwenchi. The attention of the Karimjo community has been drawn to a press statement released by the President of Wurkum Community Association, Comrade Wilfred H.Y. Kwenchi, who tells us some cheap lies and carnage to tarnish the good reputation of the Karimjo community.
Adam added that the Taraba State local government law passed in year 2005 did not see the light of the day. He also said that the government of Reverend Joli Inyame set up of a committee on creation of district chiefdoms and upgrading the existing district in Taraba State, but up to now, the dream remained unrealized.
In a word, you should understand, there is a word that afford this rate, other five. But who's the largest vote in Karim. With the population of people, every voter, we are the highest, but we are not given. And then they took up and marched with Karimbi. So this is where people are complaining. Why should a large people like this should be marched with another vote?
Our people wouldn't have been killed like that, mercilessly. After the killings, displacement all come. So we are convinced that those in the higher authority from the Wulkum side use their financial position and other influences they have to bring in other things to come and displace the Kalenjo and even kill the numerous people, different burning Kalenjo villages.
Ever before the division of Muri Emirate into Jalingo Habe and Jalingo Fulbe, the entire Kalenjo local government has two districts, i.e. Old Muri district and the Karim district. The Karim district was changed to Wulkum district in 1964. Since then, we were ruled by the Fulanis, and there were facts to all the surgery within the entire local government area.
The Karimjo community hailed the state government for appointing the son of late Chief of Wulkum, Yakubu Aruna, as the new Chief of Wulkum, calling on the state government to revisit the Karimjo memoranda on creation of separate chiefdom from Wulkum.
President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated some modern aircraft equipment as part of the over 40 projects executed at the Nigeria College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. President Buhari, who inaugurated the projects virtually, said the projects were to strengthen the efficiency and security of the nation's aviation sector. He said the government under his watch has constructed 3 airport terminals which aided over 40 million passengers capacity to Nigerian airports. The president stated that his administration has focused on the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology to further transform the college and make it an international civil aviation organization center for excellence for Africa. He noted that the projects inaugurated were critical to the development of the aviation sector and expressed optimism that the incoming administration will do more by sustaining the tempo. Projects inaugurated at the college include an ultra-modern auditorium complex, automated fire and smoke aircraft training simulator. Others are Boeing 737 flight simulator building, Boeing 737NG full flight simulator, Boeing 737NG integrated procedural trainer, among others. Now on the international scene, clashes between herders and farmers on Saturday killed at least 10 people in southern Chad, a region regularly troubled by such violence. According to a local governor, the fertile border areas of Chad, Cameroon and Central African Republic have been gripped by confrontation between predominantly Muslim nomadic herders and sedentary farmers who are typically Christian or animists. Tensions are historically rooted in rivalry over land. The farmers often accuse the herders of letting their cattle trample their crops and eat them, while the herders say they have the traditional right to graze there. Odum Forteye Amadou, governor of Madul region, told AFP that the latest outbreak of violence occurred on Thursday when a 12-year-old herder took his animals onto a farmer's peanut field, leading to an altercation that left the child dead. His parents then killed 9 farmers in revenge, Amadou said, adding that the incident occurred near the village of Bara II, 600 kilometers southeast of the capital of Jamena. And finally, in sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will look to end their far from ideal record against Brazil at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in La Plata on Saturday. The Flying Eagles have failed to record a win in their previous 5 meetings against the 5-time champions. The West Africans have lost 4 times and drawn only once. Having already qualified for the round of 16, the Nigerian boys need just a point from this game to secure top spot in Group D. Head coach Ladan Bosso acknowledged the Brazilian superiority in past encounters against his side, but insists they are ready to end the barren run. The game billed for Estadio Ciudad de La Plata will kick off at 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.